coming to you from the Santa Clara Convention Center at Cloud Expo, and I am joined by Kevin Dykes, CEO of ScaleUp Technologies. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
So you guys made a pretty significant announcement at the show in that you're launching a new cloud management platform. So
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Great, thanks a lot for having me. We've made an announcement yesterday that we've been a cloud provider as a regional provider based in Germany with a focus on Europe for the last year. And we made an announcement yesterday because we've been solving our own problem with our cloud platform. We're launching infrastructure as a platform. It is a management layer that is living about halfway between infrastructure and platform as a service. It's allowing all the flexibility of infrastructure, but without all the decisions made for you of typical platform. So we've been doing this, again, for our own company and recognize the need, same need that we have in our company with many other providers that are coming to market right now.
Okay, we were talking a little bit before about sort of simplifying the process and making, the interface easier for businesses.
Right.
So what are you guys doing in that space?
Well, what is the cloud management platform right now is a really wide space. There are things like RightScale, like Scalar, a number of other platforms that live on top of EC2, Rackspace, other infrastructure providers.
Right.
But typically they're not geared for providers like us, like an MSP or a hosting company who is going to market with the solution in a regional focused area. We're not the size of EC2, but we still want to provide something for our users that is self-service, ease of management and provisioning. So we recognize the real need for the enterprise and for these mid-market customers to have a solution their business users can use. So we're extracting the difficulty of all the decisions, allowing a business user to make choices that are understandable to them, yet still have all the power on the back end to allow an application cloud to exist.
Okay, so ScaleUp is really sort of the management layer in the process. So how sort of expand on how you differentiate yourselves in what's becoming a pretty dense market?
It is. So just to give you kind of just a quick view of our architecture. So on the base of us, we're based on Zen virtualization on the hypervisor layer. On our provisioning layer, we utilize CA3 App Logic, and which you've been using as our solution, our cloud OS, since the very beginning. It's tremendously powerful, but in our view, and in many other users' view, it's been lacking that last mile, the way to allow it to go to market in a usable way. Very powerful tool, but unless you have someone the experience level of our CTO, who's been doing this for his entire career, you can't necessarily extract all the value from it. So where we've done is to abstract the complexity of all of that, to bring my CTO and mix him into the platform that allow him to be available virtually, in essence, so that the decisions made by a user have the architecture experience of a very experienced CTO behind that, and a very experienced chief architect behind that, in the way that we construct the applications. But the experience for the user still is very simple, and we think that's a big difference.
Okay, absolutely. And before we wrap up, talk a little bit more about sort of that simplification trend and looking ahead into 2011. Any wild or not so wild predictions you want to make about cloud?
I mean, what we've seen from last year's Cloud Expo, when everyone was talking about data center as a service and those concepts, now what you're hearing, and this is because of adoption today is on application. So application cloud environments, multi-tier environments built for the application. I think the next trend that's happening is getting into allowing business users, everyone's talking about the term consumerization of IT,
right.
But that's not happening yet. If you look at the players in the market today, they're still very, very complex. It requires an engineer to understand how to use it. It requires weeks or days of training at least to understand how to use it. So what we think is happening, the trend we're seeing is a demand from the enterprise that if they're going to provide this to their users, it has to be ability for business users to understand it, to make the decisions, and to really take the difficulty off of the IT operations group. And so that's the path we're taking in our product and what we think will be a big trend this year.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kevin.
Great,
Thanks
thank you.
for joining me. I've been speaking with Kevin Dykes, CEO of ScaleUp Technologies. This is Erin Harrison coming to you from Cloud Expo in Santa Clara.